Well, I'll walk you through as we go through the whole thing. So let's just play it from the beginning, and we'll see what happens here. We can walk through this. Okay, Adam is singing. Music is up pretty loud, but the track itself is not very loud yet. Reverb is up, so the voice blends in with the track. Tweaking the volume level of the music track. Here we switch to dialogue. You see the reverb got pulled down. Here I'm tweaking the levels for the lines that are coming from the girls' students group. And I'm adjusting the volume down a little bit on the music. That's always a little bit of a trade-off with music under dialogue. You have to kind of make a compromise of where the music needs to be energy-wise to carry on with the energy of the song, but at the same time, it shouldn't disturb from being able to understand every line of dialogue, obviously. So you need to kind of walk that line. It's ramping back up. Adam is singing again. And now this is an interesting situation here because we have the girls in the ensemble singing these chords with harmonies, and Ellie, the main character, is also participating in that. So now, functionally, in terms of the music and the singing, Ellie is actually part of the ensemble, and that's why Adam is pushed to the solo level, and Ellie is reduced to the ensemble singing level. So she blends in with the girls singing. And boys are going along with that as well. So these are all set to a level that is lower than the dialogue level. Here it breaks down for the next piece of dialogue. You can see the faders now snapped from the ensemble singing level back up to the dialogue level. Whenever the faders snap like this and all faders move simultaneously and all of a sudden to a specific position, that is a telltale sign that we're looking at automation that is triggered by Qlab. And it goes to show that this would be, possible. I suppose it would be possible, but it would be rather tricky to do this, even just the fader moves, to immediately put them into the level that is correct for the dialogue scene at the exact right moment when the ensemble singing stops and it goes into dialogue. So automation is definitely a benefit. Sure, you can definitely learn this, but you have to, in terms of actually live mixing, but you have to be very familiar with the song and with the music, and really have good notes in your script to make sure that you never miss a move like this. And you can see, even if you did this one live, if you did the move manually and you wouldn't have these fader moves automated, there's also still the thought that, oh, now I also need to unmute mics. There are different mics talking here now. This is a completely different group of people talking in this dialogue scene than what was on before and during the ensemble singing. So it's literally, you might have a change on whatever, 6 mics or even more mics that have to happen at the same time that you have to manipulate the faders to a different level. So that's extremely difficult. To do everything manually is almost impossible because it just exceeds a level of complexity that you can handle manually. So therefore, we developed this combination of automating something, automating the mutes and unmutes, and then semi-automating the fader moves so that you have a good pre-mix where you only have to dig in and tweak and adjust the fine tuning, because it's a little bit different every time a performance happens. But at least you have, the music has come down to the accompaniment level where it has to be under dialogue. The faders have come up to the dialogue level, up from the ensemble level. And there's a lot of pre-mixing that is going on here that really makes your job as the live mixer much easier than if you would try to do it all by hand.
Catastrophe. Oh no, look, Fletcher's here, he's fine. Not your son. The wedding, the cover story, the rehearsal dinner didn't happen. I saw your assistant quit. Oh wait, Tori? Look.
Yeah, so see here, this is Catherine speaking, and she's on the Adam channel, on the Adam group. And here you have this whole scene is now adults speaking, whereas before it was students singing in the ensemble scene that we had just before this. And again, the reverb here, you can see it's reduced down to about 30. Okay, now the energy kind of ramps up in the dialogue, so I'm adjusting the music level up, and here goes, the music goes up to the singing level. Adam is back in his DCA group. That singing level has to be adjusted a little bit, and all these other fader levels here went down to the ensemble singing level. Now, just as I stopped it, this fader went up, because now we're getting into, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we're getting into a verse that is led by the girls in the ensemble. Let's hear. Oh no, there's more dialogue first. So this is student dialogue, but now it's girls singing. Okay, there's an interesting scene here because there are two girls in the ensemble that are leading the melody in this chorus. Adam is singing along with the melody, but the girls are leading. I think he's singing in harmony, and Ellie is part of the chords that do the backup accents. So it's, you really have to prepare for these situations by analyzing the music, and it's very tricky to react to this as you hear it, because first of all, you don't expect the ensemble girls to carry the melody. When you hear a girl voice singing the melody, your first instinct is to reach for the Ellie fader and think that it's there, but Ellie is actually not singing the melody in this case. It's coming from this fader. So you have to be prepared for this by really studying and analyzing the music well. And again, having this laid out in this particular way all over the DCA groups is making this easy to manage once you understand what you need to do. Then, what you actually need to do is simple and easy. It's not like you have to manage 16 faders, but you just have to locate where the element is right at this moment in the music that needs to be featured, and then you will figure out the DCH fader that you need to push. So it's very easy, relatively speaking, in the amount of complexity that we have here that we're looking at. It's as easy as it gets to actually control it. Again, tweaking. The backup singing is kind of getting a little loud. You could pull this further down. Here's another dialogue scene. Again, it's switched all over. Music needs to be automated further down. He is coming back up. And this is... That's the big power chord chorus. Those are now Ellie and Catherine singing. Oh, here you can see, actually now this is a new cue inside the X32 cues and snippets, and this one has now actually in the middle of the song reconfigured this Adam/Catherine channel and put Catherine on the label here. So you can do that. You can reconfigure the names on the tracks, on the DCA groups. You can also reconfigure the assignment of channels to DCA groups. And at some points during the show, we do take advantage of that. Here's a little dialogue insert between Catherine and Fletcher. Fletcher is the son. He's part of the voice channel here. But see now, this is very clean in terms of muting and unmuting, because now even though the other boys that are playing student roles and are mic'd, they're in this DCA group, but their mics are now muted. In this particular dialogue scene, we only have Catherine's mic open and Fletcher's mic open. And so Fletcher is now currently the only mic that is unmuted in the boys DCA group, right? So keep in mind that just because you have things grouped together, that doesn't mean you can't mute and unmute individual microphones that are part of a DCA group.
Mom, this is like the best day of my life.
And it's really important to do that, to clean up your sound. It's not just that actors might talk if they go backstage. Even if they're still on stage, you want to always try to minimize the amount of mics that you have open to avoid crosstalk and kind of weird acoustic effects that can happen when you leave all the mics open. So that's the reason why we really try to automate or at least leverage by using the X32 groups, cues and snippets to leverage so that we can afford to mute and unmute mics more frequently and more precisely. And if it's automated under music, that's even better, because then you have precision without having to pay attention to it as the operator. Okay, now this is Adam singing in the cast channel. So you see that it's actually switching back and forth, but it's not relabeled every time they switch. Okay, now this is kind of going towards the finale here. Okay, there's another little dialogue insert.
I take showers in the dark. Girls, our bodies are beautiful.
Pull the music down more than it is in the automation. So again, the automation ducked the music down, but I still tweak that manually by paying attention to the actual levels that I'm hearing. Taking pictures, and here's another chorus. Adam is singing solo. It's a little quiet, so he needs to be pushed. Chorus is getting louder and louder. There's some dialogue lines in there you can tickle out, but they're a bit throwaway. It's really hard to boost them out in this big volume stuff here without breaking everything else down. This was another example of the iPhone ducking the level of everything down further, because all of a sudden the track got even bigger, the volume got even bigger, and the iPhone just adjusted the volume down to not overload the video. But that's not like that in reality in the theater. There's a little dialogue scene. So you can see here now we're pushing the levels here pretty hard. You know, there are microphones open in here. There are several microphones open in these. So a bunch of microphones are open. But again, you will not have feedback issues if you always mute all mics that can be muted, that don't have to be open, and then just manage the balance or the absolute level of all mics that are open by adjusting the DCA groups. You can see here, the more mics open up, then generally the faders are further down again, so that you just don't get any feedback issues at all.
No way did you figure out this clue before I did. Blow it out of your ear, Barbie. This one counts for me too. I did this too. Look, I'm taking my job out of the mountain. Dang it!
Here's more singing. That's the final round here of Adam singing, solo, quiet track. There's a fade built into the music itself, so it gets quiet here automatically while the applause comes in. Okay, so that's all. I hope this was some valuable information that I shared here and that you learned something from this video. I mean, a case study like this is probably the closest you can get to actually sitting on the board and thinking about what you're going to have to do by watching how this goes by and what actually still has to be adjusted, even on top of all the things that are already automated and done for you, is probably the best and most effective way to kind of put yourself into the position that you're going to be in if you learn how to run a mix like this, and particularly if it's very complex like this. I think that this will probably help you to watch this maybe several times and study it and go through, and hopefully you find it interesting enough to do that, because you kind of have to find it interesting enough if you're interested in mixing, if you want to do a good job. So if you have any questions, leave your comments and suggestions on the video, and hit the like button if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified when another video is released. And this is Thomas Bartke signing out for the Artisan Sound channel. Thanks for watching.